In the vast, windswept steppes of 12th century Mongolia, a boy named Temujin was born into a world of brutal tribal warfare. This boy, forged in the crucible of hardship, betrayal, and survival, would one day be known to the world as Genghis Khan, the Great Khan, a name that would echo through eternity. But how did this outcast son of a minor chieftain rise to command the largest contiguous land empire in history? How did he unite warring tribes, conquer civilizations, and forever alter the course of human history? Join us as we journey back in time to uncover the epic story of the man who built an empire on horseback and left a legacy that continues to shape our world today. This is the story of Genghis Khan. Our story begins around 1162. Temujin was born with a blood clot clutched in his tiny fist, a sign, so the shaman said, that he was destined for greatness. But his early life was anything but great. When he was just 9 years old, his father, Yasuge, the leader of their small clan, was poisoned by a rival tribe. This single act of treachery shattered Temujin's world. His own clan, fearing retribution and seeing no use for a boy leader, abandoned him, his mother, and his siblings, leaving them to fend for themselves in the harsh wilderness. These were the years that shaped him. He learned to hunt, to fight, and to endure unimaginable hardship. He was captured, enslaved, and forced to wear a wooden collar, a symbol of ultimate humiliation. But even in chains, the fire of ambition never died. With the help of a sympathetic guard, he escaped, a feat that began to build his reputation as a man of resilience and cunning. The key to survival and power on the steppes was alliances. Temujin understood this better than anyone. He sought out his father's sworn brother, Togrul, the powerful leader of the Karaite tribe, and pledged his loyalty. His first major test came when his new wife, Berte, was kidnapped by the rival Merkit tribe. For Temujin, this was not just a personal tragedy. It was a challenge to his honor and his future. He didn't just want her back. He needed to prove his strength. Rallying his small band of followers and calling upon his ally, Togrul, and his childhood friend Jamuka, Temujin launched a daring raid. They crushed the Merkits and rescued Berta. This victory wasn't just about revenge. It was a declaration. Temujin was a leader to be reckoned with. Warriors began to flock to his banner, drawn by his charisma, his generosity to his followers, and his ruthless decisiveness against his enemies. As Temujin's power grew, so did the jealousy of his old friend, Jamuka. Once blood brothers, they were now rivals, representing two different visions for the Mongol people. Jamuka favored the traditional aristocratic system, where power was inherited. Temujin, however, promoted a meritocracy. He chose his commanders based on skill and loyalty, not on their bloodline. This revolutionary idea attracted the best and brightest from across the steppes. The inevitable clash came, and after a series of complex battles and shifting alliances, Temujin emerged victorious. In 1206, a great council, a Kurultai, was held. All the tribes of the Mongolian plateau gathered, and there they proclaimed Temujin as the supreme leader, bestowing upon him the title of Genghis Khan, the oceanic or universal ruler. The Mongol nation was born. With the tribes united, Genghis Khan turned his gaze outward. His goal was no longer just survival or regional dominance, it was world conquest. The Mongol war machine he created was unlike anything the world had ever seen. It was built on speed, discipline, and psychological warfare. His army was composed almost entirely of cavalry, skilled archers who could fire with deadly accuracy from horseback. They were masters of the feigned retreat, luring their enemies into a trap before turning to annihilate them. They were also brilliant siege engineers, adopting and perfecting the technologies of the peoples they conquered. They used terror as a weapon, often offering cities a choice: surrender and be spared, or resist and be utterly destroyed. This brutal efficiency allowed a relatively small Mongol force to conquer vast, settled civilizations. The conquests began with the Tangut kingdom of Shixia, followed by the Jurchen dynasty in northern China. Then, a fateful encounter with the powerful Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia changed everything. When a Mongol trade caravan was massacred and the ambassadors sent by Genghis Khan were executed, his fury was unleashed. He personally led a massive invasion, splitting his forces in a brilliant multi-pronged attack that overwhelmed the much larger Khwarezmian army. Great cities like Samarkand and Bukhara, centers of Islamic culture and learning, were razed to the ground. The campaign was a brutal testament to Mongol military genius and their capacity for absolute destruction. From there, the Mongol hordes swept west into Persia, the Caucasus, and the plains of Russia, sowing fear and leaving a trail of conquered lands in their wake. But Genghis Khan was more than just a conqueror. He was a visionary administrator. To govern his vast, multicultural empire, he created a legal code known as the Yasa. While its exact contents are debated by historians, the Yasa established strict laws against theft, adultery, and betrayal. It promoted religious tolerance, granting tax exemptions to the clergy of various faiths. It established a reliable postal system, the Yam, which connected the empire with a series of relay stations, allowing for rapid communication and trade. This system created what became known as the Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace. For the first time, trade routes like the Silk Road were safe, allowing for an unprecedented exchange of goods, ideas, technologies, and cultures between East and West. Gunpowder, the compass, and printing technology traveled from China to Europe, while Western goods and ideas flowed east. Genghis Khan's personal life was as complex as his public one. He had several wives and countless concubines, fathering numerous children. His 4 sons by his principal wife, Borte, Yochi, Chagatai, Ogadai, and Tolui, were destined to inherit his empire. However, the question of Joki's paternity, as he was born shortly after Borda's rescue from her kidnappers, cast a long shadow, creating tensions among the brothers that would later contribute to the fracturing of the empire. Despite these internal family dynamics, Genghis Khan laid the groundwork for a dynasty that would rule for generations. He carefully planned his succession, designating his charismatic 3rd son, Ogadai, as his heir, a choice that his other sons accepted, ensuring a smooth transition of power. In 1227, during his final campaign against the rebellious Tanguts, Genghis Khan died. The exact cause of his death remains a mystery, with theories ranging from a fall from his horse to illness or battle wounds. His body was returned to Mongolia for a secret burial, and his final resting place is one of history's most enduring enigmas. According to legend, the funeral procession killed anyone and anything they encountered to keep the location secret, and a river was diverted over his grave to hide it forever. His death did not end the Mongol conquests. His son Ogadai continued the expansion, pushing into Europe and completing the conquest of China. His grandsons, like Kublai Khan, who founded the Yuan dynasty in China, and Hulagu Khan, who sacked Baghdad, continued to expand the empire's frontiers. At its peak, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the heart of Europe, the largest land empire the world has ever known. So, what is the legacy of Genghis Khan? It is, without a doubt, one of history's most complex and controversial. To many, especially in the lands he conquered, he is remembered as a ruthless barbarian, a destroyer of civilizations who was responsible for the deaths of millions. The sheer scale of the destruction his armies wrought is undeniable. Yet, to others, he is a national hero, the father of the Mongolian nation. He was a brilliant military strategist, a unifier of peoples, and an administrator whose policies fostered trade and cultural exchange on an unprecedented scale. He shattered old orders and, in their place, created a new global network that connected continents. He didn't just conquer the world, he remade it. The rise of Temujin from an outcast boy to the great Khan is more than just a story of conquest. It's a story of will, of vision, and of the profound and lasting impact one individual can have on the entire course of human history. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the life of Genghis Khan fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the figures who shaped our world. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see us cover next. Until then, stay curious.